everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Sometimes the most ordinary days turn into the most extraordinary adventures. The other day, I decided to go for a simple bike ride. Just me and my little buddy, Mimi. The sun was shining, the road was quiet, and my thoughts felt as light as the breeze. Mimi was perched happily on my shoulder, chattering away and enjoying the fresh air. Everything felt perfectly normal until it wasn't. Suddenly, my bike started to glow. It wasn't a harsh light, but a soft, warm radiance that pulsed gently. I tried to slow down to figure out what was happening, but before I could even touch the brakes, the world around me began to transform. The boring gray asphalt beneath my wheels slowly melted into a vibrant, cheerful pink. The air, which had smelled like freshly cut grass just moments before, was now filled with the sweet, intoxicating scent of strawberries and vanilla. I blinked, wondering if I was dreaming. Then, just a little way up the road, a colorful sign materialized out of thin air. It swayed gently, as if it were breathing, and the letters on it shimmered and danced. It read, "Welcome to Candy Street." Mimi let out a little squeak of pure excitement, her tiny eyes wide with wonder. I couldn't help but laugh. A street made of candy. It sounded like something straight out of a storybook. With a curious smile, I pedaled forward, eager to see what lay ahead. The street itself was incredible. It glittered under the sunlight like a path paved with sugar crystals. On either side, lampposts shaped like giant candy canes lit our way, casting a warm, inviting glow. And the houses were unlike anything I'd ever seen. They were shaped like cupcakes with frosting roofs, chocolates with rich, dark walls, and fluffy marshmallows that looked soft enough to bounce on. Each one was more colorful and whimsical than the last. It was a feast for the eyes, a vibrant world built from pure imagination. As we rode deeper into this fantastical neighborhood, we weren't alone. Instead of regular birds, the sky was filled with jelly bean birds, zipping and chirping cheerfully above our heads. They swooped and soared in a rainbow of colors. One particularly friendly jelly bean bird even flew down and waved a tiny licorice wing at Mimi. Mimi, never one to be shy, giggled and waved right back. The whole scene was so wonderfully absurd and utterly delightful. Our journey continued as we approached a bridge, but this wasn't just any bridge. It was made of thick, crunchy biscuits, and it stretched over a slow-moving river of molten chocolate. We could hear the gentle splash and gurgle of the chocolate flowing below, and the air was thick with its rich, decadent aroma. I almost expected to see little boats made of wafers floating by. As we crossed, we saw the residents of Candy Street for the first time. They were people made of candy, with gummy bear smiles and licorice hair, strolling along the sugary sidewalks. They all greeted us with warm smiles and friendly waves. But as we explored, I noticed something peculiar. Despite being surrounded by every delicious treat imaginable, no one was eating anything. The chocolate river flowed untouched, the cupcake houses remained whole, and the candy cane lampposts stood tall without a single bite taken out of them. It was strange. I was so curious that I finally had to ask. I pulled my bike over next to a friendly-looking man made of peppermint who was leaning against a gingerbread fence. "Excuse me," I said, "this place is amazing, but I have to ask, why isn't anyone eating any of the candy?" He smiled a kind, gentle smile, his peppermint-striped face crinkling at the corners. "That's a very good question," he said in a voice that sounded like tinkling bells. "You see, Candy Street isn't meant for eating. It's a place built from dreams, imagination, and happy thoughts. The joy isn't in tasting the candy, but in experiencing the magic of it all." His words resonated with me. Mimi, still on my shoulder, nodded her head as if she understood perfectly. Suddenly, the whole place felt even more magical, more profound. It wasn't about consumption, it was about wonder. As if on cue, the sky began to change. The bright blue slowly softened into a beautiful shade of lavender, heralding the end of the day in this enchanted world. The candy lights along the street started to glow brighter, casting long, colorful shadows. My bike began to vibrate gently beneath me again, a familiar hum that felt like it was telling me something. It felt like it was time. Mimi leaned in close to my ear and whispered that she thought so too. Our visit to Candy Street was coming to an end. With a heart full of reluctance, but also gratitude, I turned my bike around. We waved goodbye to the friendly candy people we passed, and they all waved back, their sweet smiles wishing us well. As we rode back toward the entrance, the magical world began to recede. The sweet smell of strawberries and vanilla faded. The vibrant pink road slowly returned to its normal gray color, and when I looked back, Candy Street had vanished, disappearing behind us like a beautiful, fleeting dream. We were back on the familiar, quiet road where our journey had begun. I stopped the bike, and for a moment, we just sat there in silence, processing everything we had just seen. Was it real? Or just the trick of the light and a bit of daydreaming? Mimi hopped down from my shoulder and pointed excitedly at the front wheel of my bike. I leaned in to look, and there it was, stuck to the tire, a tiny, shimmering candy wrapper. A real piece of Candy Street. I couldn't help but smile. It had been real after all. I took a deep breath, my mind racing with the possibilities. If a simple bike ride could lead us to a place like Candy Street, where else could it take us? I got back on my bike, a new sense of adventure bubbling inside me. Mimi scrambled back onto my shoulder and pointed a tiny pot on the unknown road ahead, juddering with excitement. And so, we started pedaling again, ready for whatever magic the world had in store for us next. Thanks so much for joining us on this little adventure today. If you enjoyed our trip to Candy Street, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more stories. Where do you think we should go next? Let me know in the comments below. See you in the next one.